to the Daily Washington News. Hi, I'm Amelia Claiborne.
And I'm Emma Goby, coming to you live from 1791.
As many know, Whiskey's rebellion is gaining turbulence in western Pennsylvania and Virginia. Farmers are rebelling against the government and hope to lower the taxes on whiskey.
Kristen Eckler is reporting live on this subject outside of the Capitol.
Right behind me is where Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, Henry Knox, and Edmund Randolph are discussing the effects that are being caused by this rebellion. There are also many farmers standing outside the building in form of protest.
No tax on whiskey. No tax on whiskey.
Excuse me, sir. What are your thoughts on the tax put on whiskey?
It's not right. Farmers have to pay an extra tax. The U.S. removed itself from British rule because there were too many unfair and unjust taxes.
Are you a farmer yourself?
Yes, I've been a farmer my whole life. There's never been a tax this bad. Why should I have to pay money on something that I made?
How has it affected you in your daily life as well as your family?
Well, shipping corn directly is very expensive, so turning the grain into whiskey is much more effective and less costly. It's putting an extra toll on our economy and my family.
Do you think President George Washington has been doing anything to try and extinguish the conflict or tension between the government and the farmers?
Yes, but his approach is causing more of a conflict. It's seen as a disrespect to our freedom rights.
What exactly did he do?
Just yesterday, he sent a militia of 12,000 men to rioters to try to break them up. Farmers are getting more irritated.
Do you think that Washington was pushing the authority and over-abusing his role?
Yes, the president should not have the right to force troops on protesters just because there was a conflict with the people and the government. Also, it was said that the president sent peace commissioners to Pennsylvania trying to negotiate with the people, but at the same time, he was already sending troops to the confrontation.
Wow. Thank you for your time, sir, and I hope everything works out for the best. Kristen Eckler with the Daily Washington News, and back to Emma in the studio.
Thank you, Kristen. Next up, we have John Jay with us in the studio talking about his recent treaty that was created on November 19th, 1794. This treaty is a compromise between the United States and Britain. Now on to you, Rebecca.
Hi, John. How are you today?
I'm doing fine today. Thanks for having me. I'm very honored.
We are all very interested in what you have to say. So tell us, what was your motivation?
You see, Rebecca, there are many problems popping up between our country and Great Britain after the American Revolution. Things such as Britain exports are taking up all of the American markets while U.S. exports were being blocked by British restrictions. The British occupation of American forts in the north also angered us because the Treaty of Paris stated that they would evacuate the area, so I came up with a plan to avoid all costs of war.
Did someone send you to get this signed by Britain, or did you decide on this journey yourself?
Our President George Washington sent me specifically to get the treaty signed. Alexander Hamilton was also a big help in creating the content and instructions of the document.
What did this treaty actually propose?
The treaty may have favored the British, but it did accomplish keeping peace between the two nations and keep U.S. neutrality. Things such as the British had to remove troops from the northern forts. The Americans now had limited trade with the British West Indies, and some debt settlements between us were now resolved. And British also now had the power to confiscate U.S. goods on their way to France if they paid for them.
Has this treaty affected any other countries?
Yes, actually. The French believe we have violated the earlier treaties between us two, such as the one that talks about the agreements between merchants, ships, cargo, and trading. We are hoping this problem does not lead to anything more.
Is it true that people are upset about Washington wanting to finish the deal?
Yes, many people believe Britain should have not have gotten all the deals that they did, and that it shouldn't have been signed off, but really, Washington was just trying to do his job.
Do you believe that Washington should have that power to overrule everyone else?
The president should have that power, in my opinion. They do their best on acting on what's right for the country. He wants to succeed, just like everyone else. Some of the other high authorities may not agree, but they don't know and see what the president does every day.
That was a wonderful time. Thank you, John. Hope to see you soon. Now on to the weather forecast for today.
Hi, I'm Amelia Claiborne.
And I'm Emma Goby, reporting live from the Boston area.
It's currently 6:02 p.m., and the winds are reaching an all-time high of 89 miles per hour.
The temperature is dropping by the hour and is expected to be at an all-time low of 22 degrees Fahrenheit tonight, with a 37% chance of hail.
Whoa! Make that 100% chance of hail.
Back to you in the studio, kids.
President George Washington finished delivering his farewell address earlier today at 3 p.m. Washington wanted to address the nation as a whole to inform them that he will not be running for office again.
Our sources revealed that the president was planning on retiring previously in 1783, but didn't end up retiring because he believed that his country needed him. Our sources said that they believed that George Washington had done his duty with respect, and when the revolution had ended, he needed to go home.
Here with us today is the First Lady, Martha Washington, who will provide us with her thoughts on her husband's second administration. Good afternoon, Miss Washington.
Good afternoon.
Miss Washington, what are your thoughts on George's second administration?
My husband did a phenomenal job leading this country and its people. I think it has reached a point where his expertise is no longer needed in this particular area. He has been a strong leader and a brave one as well.
Do you have any regrets about the administration?
I do wish that he had spent more time at home, but I know that he was a busy man and I had to accept that. It was just hard because I only have 2 children still living. 2 died due to illness.
How would you respond to people saying that your husband shouldn't have ran for office again?
People are entitled to their own opinion, and honestly, I believe he was acting in the best interest of the people of the United States.
What is life like as the First Lady of the United States?
Once George was elected to be the first president, I faced a new set of challenges that disrupted my peaceful domestic life. If the war for independence had thrown me into an unaccustomed role in the public spotlight, my husband's assumption of the highest office in the new federal government only increased the unwanted glare.
What were some of your duties of the new position?
As soon as I arrived to the Capitol, I was not only responsible for managing the presidential household, but also for supervising the domestic affairs at Mount Vernon from a distance. I faced the new demands of social life in a big city. Each day I was expected to dress formally, receive visitors, and make calls on important members of society. I maintained my calm, cheerful, and dignified demeanor, even though it was not my first choice of how to live.
What year did your husband run for president?
He held office for 8 years, from 1789 to 1797.
What do you think is the biggest thing future presidents should take away from your husband's farewell address?
He mainly wanted the next candidates who run for office to avoid foreign entanglement, which would cause some bad blood between the U.S. and other countries. He also wanted the government to steer clear of political partying, which could cause tension between the representatives of the United States.
Lastly, do you believe that your husband, President George Washington, could have done anything more to help his country?
No, I think he did everything in his power to lead this country, so that it is able to prosper and flourish.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for being here, Mrs. Washington.
Thank you for having me.